Welcome back. So I'm 99% sure I'm balding or starting the process of balding. I have gray hairs on the side of my head, and I have a pimple. I have gray hairs on the side of my head, and let my girl pick them out. But she picks out, black hairs as well. So I'm pretty sure this is the end of old dreadlock Jonathan here in a few months or years. I don't know. No, I kid semi-jokingly, but I looked at it and I was like, damn, I look fried right now. So I'm going to have to let the gray hair stay. Transitional life, perhaps, right? Anyways, we're talking about Brittney Griner today. And listen, we're talking about Deion Sanders later today. Welcome back. If you've been missing the show, then make sure to leave a like. Make sure to subscribe. This is going to be a wild show because the footage that I saw today is absolutely staggering. It is amazing. And I'm going to go ahead and switch things up on the Brittney Griner stance. Not even that, but I got to give Joe Biden his credit and his props and his due serve. I mean, I got to be honest about the situation. I didn't know how bad it was for Brittney Griner over there, y'all. I didn't know what it was going to be for 9 years. Now, we already knew that she was in a penal colony, but we don't really understand what a penal colony is. And, people have been talking about the Russia thing and, Russia prisons are bad and this and that. And people were kind of dismissing it because Brittney was, in a terrible place. And, she didn't say she said she hated the United States and all this other different types of stuff. We'll get a load of these pictures. The first picture on your screen that you're going to be looking at right now for our video watchers. If you're not looking, you're going to see Brittney Griner and a picture of her with her hair cut off. That's right, a picture of her with her hair cut off. That is her with the tattoos, and you can see a picture of her hair on a prisoner ID if we zoom in on that picture here. But the lady standing beside her, it looks to be is another prisoner, and she's writing a letter of some sort, or maybe it's some sort of prisoner, consort. Maybe this is her translator is what I'm thinking. But she actually had to cut off her hair in this picture, ladies and gentlemen, to begin her 9-year sentence. This was a very real thing. And once again, I'm a staunch Republican. I understand there's a lot of racist white people. There's a lot of bad black people. Yeah, you get where we stand and everything. But I got to give Joe Biden here his props and his credit and his due serve. I'm going to be honest. Okay? Because look at the rest of this footage here. It only gets even crazier. This is Brittney sitting at a table eating what appears to be lunch or some kind of meal with another prisoner sitting there. It looks like that's her translator again. That was going to be her best friend. Now, I know these pictures look, promising, and it doesn't look too bad. They're in a cafeteria type setting and this, and whatever might have you. But we got some video footage here that we're going to go ahead and show you. And we got some video footage here, and this video footage is very, very telling. Footage is very telling. Actually, I'm going to have to go ahead and give me 1 second while we get that video footage pulled up. Make sure on your way into the building that you're liking the stream. We're going to get to the Deion Sanders controversy here in a little bit and why I'm not changing my mind on the Deion Sanders controversy. I'm sure it's going to probably upset a decent amount of people. Well, I guess half and half, because I think people are kind of split half and half with this Deion Sanders controversy thing.
It's the time of year to be inspired.
Sorry about the ear massacre. If you're getting ear massacred right now, I'm sorry. Sorry about the ear massacres. I want to give a huge shout out to everybody's liked already. Huge shout out to everybody's contributed in the past. If you haven't thought about contributing, think about contributing today. It helps the show be more frequent for you. I apologize. There have been some people that have been pretty upset that I didn't stick to the schedule. Well, I apologize once again. If you feel so inclined to make a comment of sorts, then I would incline you to donate to the show. All right. I would tell you to donate to the show to help out with the show. And then in that case, you can officially take a part of those comments that you don't like the show schedule or the lack thereof or whatever it might be. We might have another commercial break that comes in the audio here because we're waiting for the video footage of the Brittney Griner situation. I have that being pulled up right now. I think we're going to have to do one more commercial, and then after that, we'll get there. Then we're going to get to the Deion Sanders issue. How's everybody's day going outside that? 3 o'clock p.m., 2:59 in Texas right now. We got the live stream that everybody's been waiting for going on tomorrow. We got the live stream everybody's been waiting for, which is that winter has come for black men. And you know what? Honestly, I don't really, I want to get into a small preview of it. I would. And I don't want to, once again, well, I don't even know if I can say that. I don't want to get too far into it, but just know there's going to be a live stream that you don't want to miss because I don't want to give too many of my ideas away. I feel like people do watch the ideas. I don't know what's going on with the CNN website right now. It looks like they have the video of Brittney but it's not being pulled up to play. What it was, and I'll show you the thumbnail of it, her in a factory. Oh, it looks like, well, there it goes right there. It decided to. So we got the ad we're going to play, and then we'll get right back to this video. So give us 1 second. It's her in her factory. It's about 15 or 20 seconds of the footage of what she was going to be doing for the next 9 years, which is insane. Insane to think about. Also, what's interesting about this story and what a lot of people are concerned with is the political precedents that it's going to start putting on American citizens. And to be quite honest, it's something that a lot of people aren't talking about, the possibility of you traveling overseas and maybe getting held up if you're of a certain echelon, a certain popularity, right? Like this is kind of a really interesting case, to be honest with you. But I have to give, once again, Joe Biden his credit, props, and due, man, because he got her out of there.
In a Russian penal colony. We've got some new video here. We'll show you. This is her with short hair in her prison. Her lawyer telling ESPN that Griner cut her hair to survive the brutal Russian winter because there was no way to dry. Video here. We'll show you. This is her with short hair in her prison. Her lawyer telling ESPN that Griner cut her hair to survive the brutal Russian winter because there was no way to dry her hair. And she was freezing. An indication Griner thought she would be serving her sentence for many more months to come. We're learning that Griner also could not be forced to sew along with the other women because she was too tall. Her hands were too big for the work. I want to go to TJ Quinn, the investigative reporter and senior writer for ESPN, who's been breaking all of these details.
I just wanted to show you all that, and it was pretty, we see and we hear, 9 years and stuff like that. I know a lot of people say a lot of things, y'all. But it's a completely another thing to see that type of video and what she was getting ready to go through. It was no joke, and I get it. I understand she doesn't like America. She felt that America was a terrible place. She said publicly she doesn't appreciate America. You know what? I don't know, man. Maybe I'm getting old because I'm balding, but maybe we need to go ahead and give the youths, how old is Brittney Griner? She's like 20-something. Maybe we need to give the youths a little bit more leeway to speak punk popularity type freely. In a certain, I get it, that's what all the hippies and the baby boomers did, right? They came up as hippies and baby boomers, and now they're all doctors and scientists today. They're talking on the Joe Rogan podcast. So I think we need to give Brittney a little bit of leeway here because, now trading for the Russian dude, I get it. Hey, it is what it is. The nigga was going to get out of jail one day anyways. If the U.S. really felt that bad about it, they could have, done something to him a long time ago, and then they wouldn't have had no veto to have to do. I don't know. I know I'm making semantical type of arguments, but I don't know. I've been in jail before, man. I've been in jail before, and I tell you what, I don't think you're going to ever have a single problem with Brittney Griner having an issue with anything in the United States of America for the rest of her life, and probably the rest of that family's life as well. A tough price. A lot of people would say that the U.S. paid. Hell, we're at this point we're all headed to nuclear blast anyways. What does it matter? Might get there a little sooner. Hey, let's go ahead and talk about Neon Deion, the subject of today's conversation. I've been watching so many people feel very strongly about Neon Deion and him having the right. He should have been able to. He wasn't wrong. Deion Sanders did what he was supposed to do when he got to the organization. Now, if I look at a quick little look up of what's going on, Deion Sanders has decided to stop coaching a historically black college. Here's why people are upset. Deion Sanders' bold Colorado recruiting college message. Why the claim Deion Sanders donated half to his salary to JSU Prime is a lie. That's the article that caught my eye right there, ladies and gentlemen. That's the article that caught my eye that I ended up clicking on, that we end up looking at here in a second or two. And I said, well, how is that a lie? If you've been watching or keeping up with this case, then you know that he's made a platform on the fact that he donated half his salary. He gave so much. And we're going to watch all the videos right now because I can't even do it justice. This is interesting. We're starting off at the very top. We're going to listen to Deion Sanders as he talks about historically black colleges and universities, right? HBCUs, for those of y'all who don't know, historically black colleges and universities, and how they continuously run amok, if you will. Now, one thing I got to do before I actually do this is make sure that I have the volume up on this. Yeah, I was watching gun videos before. I apologize. Shout out to all my Second Amendment rights. Listen to this, though. Listen to this. This is, and trust me, you're going to want to listen to this entire live stream, because I'm going to go against the grain here. I'm going to go against what a lot of black people are saying, and I'm going to show you what a lot of black people are saying, exactly why black people are in the position in the world that we are right now, because nobody gives a fuck. All right? So listen to this. No, let me refresh the page. Hold on.
I've got many of,
because I changed the volume, so I apologize. As soon as this page refreshes, we'll get back into it.
I've got several of the coaches on the Zoom call and say, let's talk about our biggest nemesis or detractors or cancers. We just talked about it. And ironically, everybody's dealing with the same foolishness, but people just don't talk about it. This is the problem. I could say stuff. Coach George could say stuff. Coach Hugh Jackson could say stuff. But some guys that don't have that, can't elaborate and talk about the dysfunction that they're dealing with because they're subject to be fired. When we do it, you may not like it, but I'm not lying.
You ain't lying.
So if I'm saying, how we gonna be on TV, you don't even sell out a darn home game. So who gonna want to film an empty stadium? They may not like it, but I ain't lying.
You ain't lying.
How can we have 60,000 people in a darn stadium? You talking about we sold out, and I checked the receipts and we done sold 28,000 tickets. Now y'all better find out who's stealing, because that affects my pocket. You may not like it, but I ain't lying.
All right. So a lot was said right there. The first part of the video we don't have to focus on as much. I'm going to play this in the background, because what he addresses in the second part of the video is the controversy that a lot of people are having the biggest stance on, which is that, well, he should have left, because if they're stealing money from him, then he should have left, and this, and that. We're going to talk about his donations. We're going to get into those videos in 1 second. But that's the first video that I'm going to play for you right there, okay? We're going to play one more video, and then after this video, I'll get into a bit more of my explanations for why I still don't think that Deion Sanders had a right to leave, considering everything, or not a right, he has the right, but why he shouldn't have left, and why he could have ultimately had way bigger of a legacy than what he's going to have in the future.
Start off by saying God bless you, appreciate you and everything. I'm pissed off right now because I had mixed emotions. We won, kids played really well. But while the game was going on, somebody came in and stole every darn thing I had in my locker room.
Oh
the
my
coach's
God.
office.
Oh my God.
Yeah. Credit cards, wallet, watches. Thank God I had on my necklaces. How?
Oh, mercy.
This nigga said, Lord have
So when
mercy.
I talk about quality, raising standards, and that goes for everyone, man. Not just the people on the field, not just the coaches, not just the teachers, not just the faculty, but that's everybody, security in everybody. So how do you think it feels coming back after just teary-eyed because the guys have presented me with the game ball, one of the best moments I've ever had in my professional sports career emotionally. And then you go into your locker room, your coach's office to digress, and you notice and you don't even have a phone to call your mama, to call your girl, to call your kids, because it's been stolen.
So it's a video where Deion was describing a situation in which they had items stolen. All right. Everything stolen from the locker room apparently that day after a pretty significant win was historical. Deion wanted to go back to celebrate like any regular person would. He wanted to go ahead and call his family. He wanted to get on the line. He wanted to partake in all the festivities. He wanted to go pick up his watch. You know, you go back to the locker room, you go unwind, you go get ready to get changed. And what did he find when he got back? Well, he found that everything was stolen. What Deion Sanders is explaining or describing is the upbringing that about half of the black people in America have had, which is being raised in the hood. Right? That's what Deion Sanders is describing. And so for a brief second, he's giving you a picture of what Blackistan is for every single day in the lives of a lot of these kids that went to Jackson State University hoping that they could make it to the NFL. I'm not saying that it's Deion Sanders' responsibility, but what I'm saying is that, I'm not going to even say it right now, at some point or another, we as a community or black people, everybody's going to have to make an initiative to stop to put their foot on the bullshit. I'm just saying, at some point or another, you continuously letting situations skate by, or us continuously letting situations skate by without actively or deciding to become a part of it or sacrificially becoming a part of it, is going to continue that situation to go by. And in which case, you're going to be Deion Sanders, or you're going to be somebody who's living in a neighborhood as another black person, or another person, a minority of color, or maybe you're a white person in a black area, or just a bad area, period, or wherever it might be. And you're going to start to experience those same traumas or downfalls that the lack of leaders of that community previously lack leadership in leading that community, or led that community towards destruction or downfall. So it's a revolving door or cycle in this case. That's one of my stances, but I wanted to bring you those videos to let you know that those are the reasons that he was purporting at first, Mr. Deion Sanders here, as to why he did not feel the stolen monies as well as the stolen property, that there was any worth at that point continuously going forward. Now, the other claims are this, what read some of these articles. This Twitter post from Barkley Pops at Brando A. King on Twitter. Berkeley's Pops at Brando A. King said this Deion situation is wild if it's true. The picture says this. How I knew it. According to my source, JSU was in the hot seat for misuse of football funds. Individuals were stealing money from football program by moving it to general funds / scholarships, basically stealing from prime and players. 80% why Deion Sanders leaving. This will be next breaking news. You heard it from me first. That was a picture that was on Twitter. There's one more picture that says JSU put in Deion's contract after the $30,000 ticket sales. He had a contract that says this, that after $30,000 ticket sales, he would get money. And so he would receive a percentage of the sales. That didn't happen the whole time he was there. So he's saying he never got paid the entire time he was there because these ticket sales never actually reflected anything or a number past 30,000. And in the video, he explained or stated that they had been selling out the stadium. So it couldn't have been that. The ticket sales got missing. Deion, the football team, nor the staff saw any of that money. There was a lucrative TV deal in place, and we talked about this on the last live stream where I said I felt like Deion should have stayed because of the possibilities that we would have been afforded at Jackson State, and it looks like that was already going on. So ding, ding, ding for the truth seekers there. It would have been much more lucrative for Deion to stay at Jackson State long term because the opportunity would have been a multi-$100 million football opportunity if people decided to place money into it by other NFL stars and coaches and other people who have names to them that had the NFL attached to them, starting to attach themselves to other historically black collegiate colleges or universities. That was the benefit of Deion Sanders being there. He was the first, and he could have been a legacy of many, but unfortunately, he's just another coach now, as one of the news articles that we read said. Deion, with his own money, built the new locker room, this Twitter post says, and tennis courts. All new designs out of Deion's pockets, the new players' lounge, Deion. He also used his money to feed his players. All the fancy meals you saw the players eating, Deion. When JSU went to Celebration Bowl last year, the school didn't get any money back to the athletics. Deion used a lot of his personal money to fund numerous things around the campus. The university did not help. The president wanted his name in the headlines as much as Deion. So they're trying to say that the university wanted the clout. A last-minute offer was made for $1 million. Deion wanted to coach the Celebration Bowl this year. JSU president said no, and the Celebration Bowl is sold out. The jury is out on whether he will or not. I don't really know about the numbers and statistics or anything of that nature, but here is where the story starts to get a little bit interesting, right? So we see that post. Once again, I don't know who exactly posted that thing. Somebody Coleman, Albert Coleman. Somebody said, wow, I knew it, according to my source, but we already know that Deion did readily go on camera and talk about this incident a little bit already, right, as well as the stolen money situation. We've heard both of those, but get a load of this. Get a load of this. The article goes on to say, or an article goes on to say on AL.com, that this is all a lie. That's right. It's all a lie. Why the claim that Deion Sanders donated half his salary JSU is a prime lie. And we do have video evidence that's actually going to back this up as well, ladies and gentlemen. We do have video evidence that's going to back this up as well. It looks like he's walking into the stadium in Colorado in this picture for my audio listeners who aren't watching on my screen. He's walking to the stadium. He's enjoying the new clout. He's already got the prime Colorado University. merch on, which he might be actually making a good amount of money on. I don't know what that percentage deal is, but it looks like Colorado's cutting his prime time brand dealership membership logo in on that deal, right? That's a good look right there for Deion. But the university made a response back. That's right. The university made a response back. They didn't just make a response back, though. They made a response back with video, and they made a response back with audio. Let's get into this article, though, to get into the audible or the word side of it before we get into the audio and the video side of their response or clap back. The article goes on to say this: there's a lot of talk and feelings about Deion Sanders' decision to jettison Jackson State University and take the head football coaching job at the University of Colorado. At the center of all that, there's talk on the question of who benefited more. In one camp, there are people who think Sanders is a Hall of Fame NFL back and ad pitchman, glommed into an already honored JSU football tradition that produced greats like Jackie Slater and Walter Payton to produce his chances at the prestigious and lucrative job helming a Power 5 program. So, Power 5 is the division that the HBCU was in Jackson State in this particular case, and Jackson State is a pretty much more well-known football program. Now, this is where this starts to get interesting and testy, and this is why this is so important and why I'm not changing my stance on Deion. Another vocal camp essentially argues that Sanders pulled Jackson State, which also plays all the HBCU Southwestern Athletic Conference games and is located in a poor state in a majority black city beset with infrastructure woes, out of the mud. Further, the chorus of Sanders supporters asserts that Coach Prime, as he's known, elevated JSU, the SWAC HBCUs, and Mississippi's capital city, which he did to some extent. He did, and this is why I say this is a horrible thing they left, because he absolutely did elevate it with his name, but this was a give and take relationship. It wasn't just one way or the other. It was mutual, and when you hear the next details on why it was mutual, you're going to understand why. Viral post, the article goes on to say, on social media go a step further, detailing the list of problems Prime had to deal with during his 3 seasons in Jackson, including claims that he donated half his salary, or around $150,000, to finish renovating a facility for players because the school ran out of money, and that Jackson State reneged on a deal to pay Sanders a portion of the home ticket sales, which was a key part of his compensation package. These claims, however, are false. Quote, this is from the school, and they're saying this right now. The JSU athletic facility was funded by the university and has been in the works since 2019. The university did not receive funding from Coach Sanders. They state that explicitly, that Coach Deion Sanders Primetime did not fund the university. They also go on to say that Coach Sanders donated certain amenities he wanted for the facility. Well, this is a pretty big difference right here. Did you donate the amenities out of the goodness of your heart, or did you want to, or did you need, or did you request that these were needed to be provided by the school, and there was some kind of background deal that was worked out that you would put your money up and they would pay you back? What was it? Well, according to the response here, and I'll be honest, I'm not sensing much sneakiness here, because the video you're getting ready to watch is crazy. It's like, dang, okay, well, it's not crazy, but it backs up what they're saying. So they say that he wanted certain amenities for the facility. A Jackson State spokesperson told Reckon about the purported salary donation. The saga started when Jackson State gave Sanders his first coaching job in 2020. His first coaching job, ladies and gentlemen. All right, I want you to pay attention to this. This was Deion Sanders' opportunity to get into, right, anywhere else should he have decided to leave. And Deion Sanders knew that facet. When you're getting your first coaching job, you're not going to be able to go to Colorado University, even if you are Deion Sanders. No, you're not going to be able to do that. Now, I understand it's your purpose and it's things of that nature to rise through the ranks and whatever it might be, but you have to understand what Deion Sanders branded his message on, that God brought him to Jackson State. Quite literally, God brought him to the city. He literally made or manifested himself as some sort of Christ-like figure sent to Jackson State to pick them up out of the mud, to bring light and infrastructure to the city out of the goodness of his heart, because he truly cared that much about it. When in reality, the speech that he gave the students or to his college players or everybody that was waiting for his final words as his departure as JSU head football coach loomed on the fact that he might have an unstable career with coaching at JSU, which I'm not sure. Was it the unstable career coaching at JSU? Was it unstable because you don't like the environment and the realities of, what goes on in a lot of the black communities and you're ready to run to the white people again? Is it the same case of you wanting to run out of the hood and escape the hood? That's kind of what it sounds like to me. So don't make it seem like it was necessarily about the idea that you were trying to be a messiah, or that you were really trying to help, because guess what? in order for us as black people, and this is the big point why the black community once again is going to stay exactly where it is forever around the world. In order for a community to finally start to grow higher than the 2% of population or wealth that black people own collectively in America, you have to have people that are willing to take a financial loss. This is a concept that's going to be like financial loss. What do you mean we have to sacrifice for our people? I better not hear a single black person complaining about any black woman dating outside of the race ever for the rest of time, because all Deion Sanders did was divest from you niggas. All right? Deion Sanders divested. Okay? He got the hell up away. All right? So I better not hear anybody complaining about divesting. For most of you, I better not hear anybody complaining about divesting from now on, because it's more than apparent that nobody wants to take active part, but moreover, the leaders, especially the ones who have the position, the amenities, the talent, the skill set necessary to truly implement and start change on a generational level. See, so many are like, oh, Deion, go get your money. Go get your money. Go do this. Go do that. Yeah, that's fine. That's great and fine and dandy and all. Trust me, I really believe it is. I really, truly believe it is. But what's more apparent to me is, and the bigger thing that I take away from Deion Sanders leaving this university, and while I'm talking, I'll go ahead and make sure to play videos of Deion and all of his students kind of following him. What's more apparent to me about this entire Deion situation is that no matter how expertised you are, how much resources you try and bring, how many whatever it might be, that black men can, by and large, at a certain level, cannot act right. Period. That's what Deion Sanders leaving JSU says. When you get to a certain level, we don't have that cut. We don't have that professionalism. And so what does everybody do? You joke about getting their money and moving out of the hood. Just like Deion Sanders did. It's the same thing. It's divesting. Nobody wants to be a part of a sacrifice, and niggas gonna be laughing at this. Nobody wants to be a part of the sacrifice like Asian people do, where they sit and they sacrifice their money and they put all their money together in one business. Do you think when they put all their money together in that one business, do you think that they see the money back immediately after 5 years? They don't see that money back probably for 5, 10. Maybe they do see it within 5 years, but I'm estimating and guesstimating they probably don't see a return on their investment for a good amount of time. Now, Deion was seeing a very quick return on his investment. And you know what? His return on his investment was so valuable that a university was ready to pay him $30 million for a certain amount of time, assuming that he doesn't get his contract cut. They were willing to pay him $30 million on that investment. Sorry about the audio. $30 million on that investment. They believed in it so much that they were like, yo, listen, come to our school right now because we want to build that at our college and university. We see what you were able to do in your community. We want to go ahead and bring you to this community because we see and appreciate your expertise based off of what you were able to do there. So some of y'all are just, the reason why we were able to be slaves for 500 years is because of that mindset and mentality that so many people have in regards to business. So, well, they stole money? All right, cool. You don't think they steal money at white universities? You don't think they steal money at Rutgers and Yale? You don't think they steal money at you can Google how much they steal money at these universities. You don't think there's theft at white universities? I went to a white university. Niggas are still stealing. This is the reason why you were able to be a slave for generations. Is that mindset right there? Oh, poop. Well, shit's fucked up. Let's go. So now what? Now what? Now what do we have? Now what do we have? All right. Now what do we have? Oh, Truth. Well, shoot, Truth. What are we gonna end up doing? Well, Truth. What do you think? What do you think? What? Camera. The screen I'm showing is not big. Oh, okay. Hold on, y'all. The screen I'm showing is not big. Hold on a second. Hold on. My bad, y'all. Let me look at my settings real quick. Let me see what I'm doing. You said the screen I'm showing is not big? Oh, okay. Let me see. Oh, yeah. Oh, okay, I see. Yeah. No, that's cool. I didn't mind that. That's cool. I'll move it over. Sorry about that, y'all. I forgot to move this over so you can see more of me. All right, cool. So now listen, I know you can be, oh, there's no black community. There's no point in trying to do anything. Okay, cool. All right, cool. I don't want to hear any of y'all complaining about racist white people. I don't want to hear anybody complaining. Let me say something. This is why niggas are never gonna win, bro. Let me show y'all what's going on right now on one side of the sports world while y'all are praising Deion Sanders for the other side of the sports world. Y'all niggas are so like, I don't know what's wrong with y'all, man. All right. What's this nigga Kyrie Irving? I don't get y'all. Hebrew Israelites. What is it? Israelites? Let me look at this. All right, give me a second. Hebrew Israelites, which we're gonna have to talk about on a stream coming up here in a second, went to the Barclays Center to march for Kyrie Irving against the bluish. I'm just gonna say Jewish. I mean, I don't understand. But the Jewish people, Kyrie Irving, Israel, march, and like this was like a really big thing. Apparently, like black people are like, oh man, hell yeah, like we out here marching.
We shall get our kingdom too, and in that kingdom we shall rule. If we keep the laws in Christ, we shall never give up our mind. And we'll get our kingdom too. And in that kingdom we.
All right. We got more. This nigga's amazing on this. Let me go to my email and get this video for y'all, because it does it justice. It does it justice to some extent, but then it doesn't, because a lot of people are like, oh man, look at the brothers standing up. Hold on a second. Let me find this. All right. The name of the video is Kyrie's Army Invades New York.
Family and fellow soldiers, I'm the Professor, and this is the Moment of Truth.
This video was done by the Moment of Truth, Professor Black Truth on YouTube. And make sure you subscribe to him. This is more of that video I was talking to you about.
Marching through New York City to support another black man who refused to bow, and they don't even want to touch this. In the media capital of the United States, no less, at the very arena where the most talked about athlete on the planet was making his return.
Father was there where you left. Right. Mother was there where you left. Right. Uncle was there where you left. Right. Auntie was there where you left. Right. Your cousin was there where you left. Right. Brother was there where you left. Right. Your sister was there where you left. Right. Your father, your mother, your uncle, your auntie, your cousin, your brother, your sister was there where you left. Right. That's the reason you left. Right.
All right, so they were able to come together. They marched by, a good. This nigga's roasting them. They marched by, it looks like a few hundred
last year, but all of a sudden the white media doesn't want them on, because the subject now is them directly confronting white power in its very home.
So they're on this white power tip, right? Because it's the bad white man, or is it the bad white man? I don't know. In this case, obviously it's the bad black man. And once again, this is the problem. There's no solid unification on what the conceptual concept is as a black unified movement right now. It's half of the side of the people saying, oh, you know what? They stole money. Go ahead. F it. Leave the school and go on to the better side. And then you have an entire movement in the NBA and in hip hop and in rap saying, oh, it's the white people that are so bad. It's like the police don't know what to do when they show up half the time when y'all call them, because they're like, oh, are these black people that actually respect and trust us? Or are these black people that are only calling us because there's another black person that's beating them upside the head right now? You understand what I mean? This is why I'm not changing my stance on the Deion Sanders situation. Now, let me get back to this article, because this article still has more information on it, and we didn't even get to the crucial part of the article that has most of the information on it, which was the video stating, or the video of what actually happened with Deion. So once again, going back to this Deion thing, he said he gave half of his $300,000 annual salary to Jackson State, right? Now, go back to this article. The saga started when Jackson State gave Sanders his first coaching job in 2020. Already wealthy from a successful pro career that included stints with the Atlanta Falcons and Dallas Cowboys. At one point, he owned the largest private residence in the state of Texas. I already talked about the fact that, hey, you know what? That probably wasn't as much the case because it's 2022 now. I account for inflation, yada, yada, yada. He did do reporting on ESPN for a good amount of time, but I'm not going to say that, and I'm not going to act like $30 million contract isn't going to be something that 99.9% of people wouldn't take no matter how much money they have in the bank. This is still, once again, though, it supersedes money, or it should supersede money based off of the impact and the legacy that you could have lived. I don't know. I guess I'm just different. I don't know. Anyways, they said he was already wealthy. He might not have been. He might have been. Here's that video.
So this is what we pay for.
They're rolling through right now.
Put the grass down. Gonna put more like picnic benches kind of out there.
Gonna pick more picnic.
Yeah, they pressure wash the building, and we got all the weeds, and we cut all the trees back and all that. But this is where they sit down, and they're taking their shoes off.
So is this the back of the Walter Payton?
Yeah, this is the back of the facility. I have to show you.
Maybe think about how you were going to get out there. You had to do all this.
Yeah, cut the gates down. Like all those big metal things all the way across.
Oh, that's great.
Yeah, we put that there. That's a dog cage. But some people come over here and they put their wrap thing right there.
All right.
Around the bottom of it.
Now, what he's doing right now is he's describing everything that he did. He's saying we did this, we did that. Some reports say Deion was literally out there cutting the grass. I don't know. Maybe he was out there cutting the grass. I'm not sure. But what I wanted to get to is him walking and talking about the inside, because this is where the tone, I feel, changes a little.
I say the Bunyan area. Her husband, very successful businessman, plans to do our electronics, TVs, and
Now, he said somebody's husband, a very successful businessman, pledged. Okay? Did y'all hear that? Okay, I'll rewind it back for you. Now, I want to say this. My original stance, even if this video never came out, based off of the research I've done, I still would feel the exact same way about Deion Sanders as I did before in this situation. Regardless of whether or not he was rich going into this or wealthy going into this coaching spot or not, it is in my opinion that he used this as a stepping stone and nothing more. He had no inclinations. He had no intentions. He had no desire. He had no want to be there any longer than he had to be in order to secure the bag. Or monkey branch, as you like to say in the manosphere, or red pill groups, or hypergamize himself, whatever you want to call it. This is why I always say hypergamy is in every aspect of life, though you can only see it in dating for whatever reason or another. Let's listen to that again.
plans to do our very successful business. Her husband, very successful businessman, plans to do our electronics, TVs, and for the lounge. I think his area over here somewhere. We're going to put all the TVs so they can play the PlayStation and all that over one of these areas. Probably against that wall.
Oh, that's perfect. You need a wall.
We can have a wall.
That'll be perfect.
Yeah.
Get the kiosks and
We're turning these around.
yeah.
We're putting a couple barbershop chairs over there.
We should get Gillette to sponsor that area.
Yeah, that'll be good.
So that'll
You heard that? Gillette to sponsor that area. We need to do that.
Please,
Don't put
Gillette.
the barber chairs over there, and that's done on the knee room for the position. We'll probably have to put the tight end or something in that room, because they have a small group, because we don't have the space.
Okay. And this has to be ready when?
By the 4th of August.
So 2 weeks?
Nelly, you might want to get this. I got a funny feeling something's about to go down.
I looked at my friend.
So that's the Jackson State internals of the university there. There were sponsors. There were people who did align. Some good people that did align to actually donate to that facility. You see the video there. The source of the false athletic facility donation, the article goes on to say, can be traced back to a now viral video from July 2022 when Sanders gave a tour of the Walter Payton Center to Constance Schwartz Marini. the founder of the SMAC Entertainment, which represents Sanders. The center is located at the heart of JSU's campus inside a room that appeared to be under construction. He pointed out the future location of a bank of televisions and PlayStations, barber chairs, for which he made a plea to Razor Gillette to sponsor. We saw that in the video just now, or just then. Exasperated, Schwartz Marini suggested the room is unfinished because the budget for the project is, quote, tapped out, and prodded Sanders to donate a quarter of his salary to finish the work before the start of the season in 2 weeks. Sanders upped the ante. He said, I'll put more than that into it once it gets done for these kids. I'll put half into it to get this done. Pointing to the camera, he adds, if you don't believe me, check me. I will send you the receipts. He later affirmed the offer during SWAC Media Day in late July, saying, I don't promise nothing I can't deliver, Sanders said during the event. Other rumors have persisted. In the run-up to the Celebration Bowl, in which Sanders will coach JSU for the last time against North Carolina Central University, winners of the HBCU Mid-Eastern Atlantic Conference Championship, rumors have swirled that JSU failed to pay Sanders the portion of the ticket sales he's owed per his contract. We saw that video a second ago where he was like, oh, there was only... the stadium's full, but there's only 30,000 tickets. In which case, or 28,000 sold. So in which case, if it's supposed to get to 30,000, he's supposed to, be able to be paid 10%. The article says of that game. That could be a good amount of money. 10% of that game. If you sell, anything past 30,000 tickets, and I think each ticket was like $55 to go to a Jackson State game. That's a pretty good chunk of money. That's a pretty good sizable amount of money. But once again, if it's about the kids, as you just said in the article here, I'll put more than that into it once it gets done for the kids. I'll put half that into it. If it's about the kids, then let it be about the kids, Deion Sanders. If it's about the actual money, then let it be about the money, in which case then you shouldn't have donated anything initially to get that program started if you were simply looking to have a stepping stone type job and to just get into the situation, right? But the problem I have with Sanders is, yet again, he made himself out to be this prolific Jesus type morality type of character. You could check my code. I'm all in this. I'm 110%. And then at the last second, he's upset because what? Because somebody stole the stuff out of the locker room, and because what was the other thing? I don't know. What was the other thing? Now, I know $30 million on the side. $30 million on the side. I completely get that. However, we don't know a few things about that $30 million. You don't know what his early termination contract reads, how much money is guaranteed to him. There's only a partial guarantee that we saw in that $30 million contract. You best believe that Colorado University is going to be protecting themselves and their financial interests, because I already saw an article that said that Colorado University is looking for the money to be able to pay Deion Sanders to begin with. I'm a college dropout, so you can say whatever you want about that. That's not a good sign to me. And if you don't believe what I'm saying, let me bring up the article. Colorado University, money for Deion Sanders. Man, you don't know how much you use the R key until you have to use the R key. Colorado admits on this article here it doesn't have Deion Sanders money yet. Now, I once again, I'm a college dropout. I get, okay, that's cool. I'm sure that they'll find the money. Maybe they're banking on it. What it sounds like they're banking on to me is the fact that, as this other article says, that he can bring in a large amount of money, that he's able to generate hundreds of millions of dollars. This is on the Spin, or Sports Illustrated network. The article that says he was able to generate hundreds of millions of dollars is on Front Office Sports. Deion Sanders could generate, quote, hundreds of millions for Colorado. Now, let me ask y'all one question, all of my Deion Sanders supporters, no matter what he does, no matter what he did, no matter what he said. Let me ask you all one simple question here, okay? If he doesn't generate these hundreds of millions for Colorado, what do you think is going to end up happening? What do you think is going to be the end result after a season or two? Well, I'll tell you what's going to end up happening. After 2 seasons, he does not have a 650 record or a 750 record. I'm going to give it 2 seasons. Deion Sanders is not going to be the head coach for the University of Colorado anymore, in which case that early termination to the contract is going to be a lot more important than that $30 million is that we're talking about right now. He doesn't have $30 million in his pocket yet. He doesn't have $30 million. The university doesn't even have $30 million right now. They're banking on what he built at that university, at his school, which lets me know that the value, should he or if he decided to stay, that he could have negotiated with, even if he decided to not go to Colorado University, if he decided to stay in the HBCU conference, he would have been able to demand $1 million contracts from the black colleges, because that's what the white colleges gave him. Just like when they give you a contract in music for a lot of money, they know that you can make that money outside of them. So instead of making it outside of them and taking money away from them as an independent artist, they'll give you money up front, sign you and your talent, and then make money off of you. But this is once again why niggas complain about being fleeced in the hip-hop industry 24/7. This is why black men will continue to stay at the very bottom. Nobody wants to take the hit for anybody else. Now, you can believe exactly why you want to believe, and that's why we're going to keep staying exactly why we are. It takes sacrifice at some extent, at some period, at some time and another. And this is why it's too late at this point. I do echo and sentiment your messages to some extent saying, no, Deion, get your bag now. Because honestly, at this point, it's too late. It's too late. Those sacrifices over millennia failed to happen. They tried Black Wall Street. They tried a few other times. Integration, you could say it was a good or a bad thing. At this point, all of that slavery, it doesn't matter. It's too late. There's no coming back for it. There's no coming back from it. I have no issue with race. I have no, you know, I'm a staunch Republican. I love Donald Trump. I have no problem with white people by and large. However, it's so interesting to me that so many black people and black men will stand on these crumbling these crumbling sands in the hand, gritty type of just really feeble, crumbling rock type of mentalities, but then at the same time and same token be the same ones that champion for the very essence of what you claim is holding you back. Are the people that control Hollywood and the NBA and the NFL bad? Or are they good? Where are we? Are white people good or bad? As black people, we need to make up our minds, and it'd be better to quickly to make up your minds. Because especially black men don't know what they want. Man, I support Kyrie. I support Kanye. I support Deion. He should have got the hell up out of there. Leave the niggas alone. Well, Kanye's fighting for the niggas. So are you going to leave the niggas alone or what? Kyrie's fighting for the niggas. Are you going to leave the niggas alone? You see what I mean? You're easily divided. There's no fundamental conceptual identity to a nigga. All we know is that he doesn't like himself. That's what we do know. If you enjoyed it, make sure you leave a like. We'd like to get one donator, one super chatter, one contributor to the stream. Also, make sure that you go over to gotserum.com. We got Christmas packages. Be on the lookout for the community tab post that's going to be up. You're going to see some amazing body washes. Gotserum.com for all your body wash. Best 100% completely natural. You can't beat it. It stays on me, quite literally, just like my pistol does. Well, AK rather. Well, it's a pistol technically. So by the overwhelming support for Mr. Deion here, the overwhelming support for Mr. Deion, I think it's crucial that we ask a question once again. Is there any community worth standing for or fighting for? Because there's a movement that's trying to happen in hip-hop of all places where black men are trying to get this identity of sticking together across the board established in hip hop of all places. Charleston White had a lot to do with it. Kanye's picked it up as well. Now athletes are starting to pick it up. Now people are starting to pick it up. Balenciaga's going down. It's getting a little testy out here. And people are making sacrifices right now to make sure that these testy waters continue to test. People are making sacrifices. You all support Kanye because he sacrificed $1.2 billion in a day. Well, man, appreciate it, Kanye. Appreciate it, Kanye. Yeah, you better appreciate it. You should appreciate it. At one point, do we start to address what really needs to happen inside of a community? So Kanye decided to go ahead and take the Balenciaga clothes that he had and sell them for $20 each.
100 hoodies from Yeezy, from Balenciaga, from the stuff we did at Gap, from the stuff we did at Adidas, and everything we do is going to cost $20. We need to make sure that everyone can receive the same level of cuts, the same level of food, same level of water, same level of education, the curriculum, the engineering.
Now, what's interesting about this is Kanye's not necessarily doing this for profit. And obviously everybody getting a $20 hoodie is not going to change the world in that regard of at least their $20 hoodie affecting their lives. However, what it will start to do is it will start to marginalize, or it will start to give you a better business edge or opportunity to get your brand out there, to get your support out there, your company support out there, to get your image recognition out there, right? It starts to marginalize, and in this case of Balenciaga, it starts to create, utter destruction. I'm trying to see if I can find some pictures of people burning their Balenciaga, but people are crazy, yo, Twitter's crazy. A Hellcat burned all his stuff. He's burning it.
Because if you wear this, you represent pedophilia. Fuck with it. So I'm the biggest Balenciaga fan, but these gotta go. Cancel them.
Bro, that was like $30,000 in Balenciaga. I'm not gonna lie.
Canceled. And if you wear this bullshit, don't come around my kids ever again. I'm not giving this shit away. I'm burning everything.
If you wear it, don't come around my kids ever again. $1.2 billion sacrifice, but it was for the right reasons. You see, not all money is good money. I know it's a concept, and I know maybe I can't apply it to Deion Sanders, right? I can't apply it to Deion Sanders. Oh, I can. I absolutely can. Article goes on to say this. Going back to Deion for a second. A recently surfaced episode of Earn Your Leisure. He said, how can we have 60,000 people in the stadium? You told me we only have 28,000 tickets. The university said this. They honored all financial obligations to Coach Sanders' employment. The video in question was filmed on September 20th on our campus. Unfortunately, a seconds-long expert using a hypothetical example from an over 60-minute interview is being used out of context and circulated as fact. What? Oh. Sorry, y'all. Now, I think they're telling the truth. So let me give you an idea. Let me give you an idea of why I think they're telling the truth here in this instance. That video that you're seeing, he didn't mention Jackson State, and this is the problem with the internet. This is why this shit is so dangerous, dude. If he's telling a story about a different business opportunity or something else that happened in a different school or a potential career choice that he didn't pick up, and he's wearing Jackson State's clothes, and he's not talking about Jackson State, then that clip could be taken out of context saying, oh, he was talking about Jackson State in this clip, when he might have been talking about a different job that he didn't take. So if I'm sitting here talking to you, right, and I guess we'll just say this. If I'm sitting here talking to you, I'm trying to think of like the best way to give an example, because a lot of people hear this out of context thing, but you don't really understand what it means until it happens to you. Okay, well, like this. You've seen the movies, right, where somebody's giving mouth-to-mouth resuscitation to somebody else, like, or a woman is walking out in public and she runs into a guy and like they're on top of each other, and then like the guy's girlfriend or the woman's husband or the woman's girlfriend or the guy's husband walks up to the scene and they're like, what the hell? What are you doing on top of this person? And then the people on top of each other look at each other and they're like, oh, this isn't what I think. This isn't what you think it is. That's an out of context taken event where all indicators point to it is exactly what you think it is, but we saw 30 seconds ago before you saw 30 seconds ago, before you saw them laying on top of each other, we saw them running and not looking in the right direction, which is why they're laying on top of each other now, because they ran into each other. So within context, it makes perfect sense, but out of context, you're like, oh yeah, we're about to break up and I'm about to fight because you're laying on top of another guy or this guy's laying on top of you. You know what I mean? That's what Jackson State is saying happened right here, that what he was talking about was something out of context, all right, and being circulated as a fact. Now, once again, I think that people were just waiting for something to kind of, give him on this. Still, Jackson State tells Reckon the school is grateful for Coach Sanders and what the school accomplished. We are invested in moving forward, providing championship experiences for our students, athletes, and continuing our elevation as a top-tier education destination. Meanwhile, the Jackson State faithfuls are continuing to show their love for the school founded in 1877 despite the slander. Deion was at Jackson State for prime time, not a long time, said Leslie Mecklemore, an alumnus who writes for the popular website Black with No Chaser, and I'm okay with that. But just be upfront about it. He went to JSU for his best interest, yet painted himself to be this black savior, that's what we said, of HBCU sports. And while doing that, some of his actions portrayed JSU as a charity case. Meanwhile, JSU was the only storied football program to give him a head coaching opportunity. We are not a charity case, she goes on to say. Why do I feel the way about the Deion Sanders situation? Well, the end of that article is what solidified in me what I had already been feeling and knowing. I already know that there's no brotherhood, and I get that at a small level. At a micro level, something like this happens to you. It's easy to maybe just be completely dissuaded from all HBCUs. But that's as stupid and as foolish, in my opinion, as a white person deciding to hate all black people because they got made fun of by a black kid in the second grade. Now, maybe if their brother or sister got severely hurt or hurt in a permanently type of way, I can understand why you just hate all black people. Maybe I could get it at that point. But you're gonna say because people stole your watches and thank God you had your necklaces on, your necklace. What are you wearing? $100,000 in necklaces, Deion? I know you're not wearing that much money in necklaces. You probably had a couple gold necklaces worth around $10,000. That's still a good amount of money, but it's nothing worth thanking Almighty Jesus Christ for. That the niggas didn't steal your necklace. I better not hear about a single theft that happens. And you know what? They're probably going to be, I'm not going to say that. I better not hear about a single theft or complaining about anything. It better be the best, most positive experience at Colorado University. But I'm going to tell you right now, based off of that first interaction that I saw with him and the coach when they were walking to the back of the locker room, I don't know. I know it's prime time over there. But you best believe as quick as they got you in, they'll get you out of somewhere that you're not necessarily as established in. He's in the big leagues now. And that $30 million sounds good if you can make it that long. You know how many head coaches fulfill their coaching contracts? Ask Coach Greg Adams. Poor Coach Greg Adams. Shout out to Organic Black. Let me play this last video. Let me play 2 more videos about the hypocrisy. I got more videos. I got so many videos here. Look at all these videos. Look at this. Look at this. This video has to do with, and I'm gonna wrap it up here in a second, but I got to get all this out in this because, we just have to. I gotta refresh this page. You're gonna have an ear. It might get a little loud for 1 second. Just 1 second. I'm sorry. Here we go.
Came to witness our kids yesterday in its entirety, and I appreciate you. But there's 32 teams in this Crayola box. Therefore, the Dolphins, the Broncos, the Texans, the Bills, the Buccaneers, the Ravens, the Panthers, the Browns, the Vikings, and the Eagles. Where art thou? You could have sent somebody, man. You could have shown up just a little bit, but I guarantee you.
Amazing. This is amazing. We're gonna play this from the top. This is amazing.
Miss, I guarantee you.
If you don't understand what's going on, he's calling out the teams that didn't show up for the NFL Pro Day that Jackson State University had. Get that. Amazing.
We coming. 24 teams came to witness our kids yesterday in its entirety, and I appreciate you. But there's 32 teams in this Crayola box. Therefore, the Dolphins, the Broncos, the Texans, the Bills, the Buccaneers, the Ravens, the Panthers, the Browns, the Vikings, and the Eagles. Where art thou?
Where are you, Deion Sanders? Enjoy your day, ladies and gentlemen. I'll see you in the very near future.